if you recall the 2019 Bolivia coup, if you happen to have been
Communism
around
is
for
based
3 fucking years now in this hell that we call international politics, which, isn't really that long of a time, but I understand that a lot of my viewers are 14 years old, so perhaps you were 11 years old and you were more interested in TikTok and Fortnite back then than you are with global politics. But if you were around
communism is based
you might have remembered that during the Bolivia coup, there were like a bunch of like NGOs, like supposedly left-wing environmentalist NGOs, that were like supporting the coup, trying to do everything possible to attack the left-wing MAS government of Bolivia and legitimize the coup. And I made a video about one of them back then. I'll bring it up right now just so that you guys understand what I'm talking about. So I made this video here about Janis Vakadaso, who ran a shady human rights NGO that's entire thing was to like pretend to be environmental activists while really just being right-wing regime change activists who are sort of appropriating environmentalist rhetoric to create these false, ridiculous narratives that left-wing governments are actually, like left-wing governments in third world countries are actually like the biggest issues facing environmentalism and climate change rather than the first world and stuff like that. And they were fairly successful. They get a lot of genius, like first world anarchist coffee shop type guys on their side really easily. So I guess others have taken notice of the relative success. I mean, I say relative in that, like, they got some airtime. She went on fucking CNN and shit, right? So it's not like they didn't win. They ended up losing horribly and being totally embarrassed. But like, in terms of getting some attention and like framing a right-wing coup as actually some sort of left-wing liberation movement, they were fairly successful on that front, even if the end goal failed completely. So others took notice. And they've taken notice to the point that everyone's favorite president of Venezuela, Juan Guaido, is citing them. So Juan Guaido here, the official 100% real president of Venezuela, if you can fucking believe it, it's been like almost 4 years now, and he's still pretending to be the president of Venezuela. Absolutely incredible. Things have gotten to the point where like Maduro is back to attending international events. He just recently attended the COP27 climate summit in Egypt, I think it was, and had, cordial conversations with Western leaders and stuff. He spoke to Emmanuel Macron and stuff like it was normal. Macron made clear that he acknowledged Maduro as the government of Venezuela now, which is very funny because like basically it seems like the EU is now backtracking on their stance there because they've spent so long trying to get rid of Maduro that now they're like, okay, it's not working. Let's just pretend none of that ever happened and start being nice to him again so that we can get access to some of that juicy Venezuelan oil. But Juan Guaido is still here pretending to be the president. Maduro is cynical to participate in a conference on climate change when he is responsible for one of the most serious ecocides on the planet in the Venezuelan Amazon. That's so fucking funny. You know who's one of the biggest causes of climate change? It's not first world countries emitting. It's not the USA, which Guaido is essentially just an agent of. It's Nicolas Maduro with the small little parcel of the Venezuelan Amazon that is in Venezuela, and he's doing an ecocide there. It's absurd on the face of it, and it's hilarious the narrative they're going with. But what's interesting here is who did Juan Guaido cite in the next tweet as evidence of this? He says, if you want to know the details of this ecocide, check out this documentary by SOS Orinoco that shows the environmental destruction generated by Maduro, which also leads to the financing of terrorism, the displacement of indigenous ethnic groups, and human trafficking. Oh man, Mr. USA, please invade us, Juan Guaido. He really cares about indigenous ethnic groups and environmentalism, etc. now, man. I'm telling you. But what is SOS Orinoco? You might be able to tell from the format of the name here, SOS Orinoco. That's like the fucking hashtags that right-wing coups all across Latin America love to use. Like during the Bolivia coup, it was SOS Chiquitania. So now we have SOS Orinoco, a 100% organic and real environmentalist organization here to do literally nothing but talk about how evil Nicolas Maduro is. Very interesting, right? So I did some digging on SOS Orinoco. And you might not be very surprised to find out that they are a millionaire-funded astroturfed, essentially just fake NGO. Specifically, they are run by a Venezuelan millionaire, far-right fascist figure who fled the country after it was discovered that he was trying to organize a military coup back in 2017. So I'll show you how I found that exactly through Google. Let's say, okay, you see here, SOS Orinoco. Let's type that into the thing. Okay, this is their website. You're gonna be amazed at how just out in the open this shit is. Let's translate it to English. Let's go down to the donate button, because they're funded by fucking billionaires, but they still solicit donations, of course. Let's go to the donate button. And down here in the little fine print, in this little gray text, donations to SOS Orinoco will be received by V5 Initiative, a charitable organization in the USA, and contributions are tax deductible, blah, blah, blah. What is V5 Initiative? V5initiative.org. Yeah, this is like ancient Stone Age shit. Let's go to Our History page. Oh no, sorry. Let's go to the Board of Directors page. Board of Directors. Executive Director. Cristina Borelli. Pedro M. Borelli. Advisor. Okay, who is Pedro M. Borelli? I wonder. And who is Cristina Borelli? Well, this is Pedro M. Borelli. Pedro Mario Borelli. He is a right-wing businessman. Venezuelan right-wing businessman. And years ago, literally years ago, I think it was like my third ever video, I covered, this is literally almost 4 years ago I made this video now, like 3.5 years ago. You might be very, very surprised to find this very self-explanatory thing about him that I'm just going to let my video play to sort of show you who he is. In the military about how Lopez's protest movement was an opportunity for a coup.
Yo creo que, me imagino, que habrá otro Leopoldo López dentro de las Fuerzas Armadas que entenderá que llegó el momento de limpiar con la escoria del chavismo, con la escoria de la complicidad, con la escoria de la corrupción, y simplemente yo creo que llegó el momento, cualquiera que se pare ahorita, cualquier grupo que se pare ahorita y diga esto, se genera una crisis, te lo aseguro, pero tiene que estar unida a la lucha del pueblo, a la lucha de Leo, y solidarizándose con Leo. Así vale la pena perder una carrera. Es el momento. No hay ningún riesgo si se hace bien. ¿Ok? Búscate los que valgan la pena. Búscate los que confían.
You've probably never heard of it. So, that's who Pedro M. Borelli is. That's who the guy who is running V5 Initiative, this charity that is behind SOS Orinoco, is. That's the guy who is apparently very concerned with indigenous rights and all of that stuff now. That's the guy. And the executive director of this charity is just his daughter, Cristina Borelli. It's literally just his daughter. It's absolutely crazy. Especially funny because she was a member of the board of the Pro-Life Association of Venezuela. We all know what that means, right? Oh no, wait, no, she's sorry, I'm wrong. It's not his daughter, it's his wife. She is married to Pedro M. Borelli. Sorry, I got that wrong. She is married to Pedro M. Borelli and they have 5 children. It's like a fucking, this supposed left-wing environmental NGO is an initiative of fascist husband and wife, billionaire businessmen, like billionaire bourgeois family, who created a charity. Fucking man, you can do anything and be called a charity in the US. To solicit donations to save the rainforest in Venezuela after they fled the country when their attempt to plan a military coup was found out and exposed. This is the end. I don't even know what to say, man. This is what these like anti-left NGOs all around the world are like. This is what they always are. If you look behind them, this is the sort of shit that's there. Just making up wholesale these bullshit environmentalist sort of narratives to appeal to ignorant first world progressives who are like, oh yeah, man, peace, man. I don't want them to burn the rainforest, man. We got to get rid of that Maduro and replace him immediately with Juan Guaido, so that he can invite US corporations into the country and privatize every single little thing in it, including that same rainforest, which is surely going to fix whatever problem there is that definitely isn't just made up. Anyway, I'll do a large Frappuccino, extra cream, 5 pumps, please. That's who this is for. They'll never suspect me if I put my wife in charge. But it's also like, no one knows who Pedro Borelli is because his entire thing was like, he was a fairly obscure businessman. And then like, suddenly he comes out as like trying to organize a coup. And then he flees to the US and uses his money to try and like, run these pro-US fascist influence ops to try and mislead first world progressives into like supporting a far-right coup in Venezuela. Because, I mean, I guess he couldn't manage it when he was there with his money. He couldn't manage to get people in the military to help him out. Now he's got to get, like, first world latte sippers to help him out by posting the SOS Orinoco hashtag. And they're failing completely because Maduro is slowly but surely winning, basically. Like, all of his previous enemies are slowly just being like, well, you know, it didn't work. We might as well just stop trying at this point. And Guaido is like just still there in the background, just being an incompetent fucking buffoon 100% of the time, retweeting these sorts of like it's all like a little clique. It's all like a self-reproducing little clique of pathetic fascists who are using their millions of dollars to try and like install a far-right government in Venezuela. They've been trying to do it for years upon years upon years upon years now, and they've been failing miserably the entire time. It's so fucking disgusting, though. Like this idea that like the fucking random left-wing governments that dare to tax big business a little bit, that dare to be even slightly against American ownership of their natural resources and shit. Those guys are the real threat to the environment, right? It's those guys. Imagine how much of a fucking dipshit you need to be to fall for that sort of thing. And of course, every single time this happens, it's just a transparent far-right op. It always is. It's always funded by far-right billionaires. It's always run by people who are like enthusiastic members of, you know, far-right organizations trying to pass themselves off as progressives. Like, give me a fucking break, man. So yeah, I just wanted to cover SOS Orinoco, the new latest far-right greenwashing campaign to install a fascist government in Latin America. One of many, and there will be many more in the future.